Christopher Mellon has just completely blown the lid off of everything UFO by leaking screenshots of messages from a US official about a crash retrieval program. This is mind-boggling because we've had, little jigsaw puzzles pieces of information, but this is the literal, it's the final nail in the coffin to confirm that there were crash retrieval programs, and it came from a very infamous UFO crash that apparently never happened. But this is confirmation that that crash did in fact happen. Oh my days. So first of all, we need to start off with who's Christopher Mellon, because if anyone who doesn't know him, you might not know if we've got to vet him, first of all. So, Christopher Mellon was born on October 2nd, 1957, and is a private equity investor, and he's a former deputy assistant of the Secretary of Defense of Intelligence in the Clinton and George W. Bush administrations, and later, for security and information operations, he formerly served as the staff director of the United States Senate and Select Committee on Intelligence, and he is a member of the influential Mellon family out of the greater Pittsburgh area. Mellon has lobbied the US government investigations for UFO/UAP. Basically, his credentials just sing his praises. He is the guy who will know something if there was something to be known, and he basically just completely spilt the tea all over the coffee table, and he's just like, there you go, have it. And what I mean, I literally mean that he just did that, because yesterday, at the time of recording, literally 10:26 p.m. on April 22nd, he just posted a screenshot. Literally, that was it. No context, no writing. He just posted a motherfucking screenshot. And I was just like, oh my days. This is huge. And in the screenshot, it's clearly iMessages. You can see because of the reaction and the blue and the grey background. But this was circa 2020. So Christopher Mellon's messages are in blue, so we know that this has come from his device. And the grey messages are from a senior USG official. Okay? Bear that in mind. So, from what we've got, there are some redacted parts, probably for security purposes, maybe their names, or maybe case files or something. But someone and I are making huge progress in getting into the crash retrieval program. He plans to meet with you at some point. The something would be slack-jawed if they found out what we know. Wow. Something 45. Literally, that's all we can see there. But that's pivotal in just a moment, so bear with it. Right now, we haven't gone that far back. We're dealing with a recovered UAP at the landing in Kingman, Arizona in the 50s. Okay? We're vacuuming up as much info as gets rowed in. We now know the management structure and the security control systems and ownership of the crash retrieval. This is crazy. We also know who recovers landed or crashed UAPs under what authorities. We also know that a still highly classified memo by the Secretary of the USAF in the 1950s is still in effect to maintain the cover on UAPs. We also know that the SES-2, who's the Air Force gatekeeper, name redacted here, but provided to Congress, it says on the statement. And that's all we got. What the actual motherfuck? Like, this is boom. All right? And as if that wasn't bad enough, I was sent an email by Ebony McKickass, who has by far the best name in the world, but she sent over this and was basically like, there is no way that this is not being spoken about. Like, how is this not being spoken about? So on Christopher's Substack, okay, he talks about this legacy program here. So recently, as a result of an FOIA request, the Department of Defense released some signals exchanges with Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, former director of the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. The release surprised but did not offend me, as I'm a strong supporter of government transparency. However, it also reminded me of another signal message that the public might find of interest that is also pertinent to an alleged recovery of an off-world technology. Out of respect for the author's confidentiality, I've been sitting on this message for a number of years. I've also redacted portions of the document to protect his identity, the identity of the author. However, I recently obtained the author's written permission to release it. It has also now been approved for public release by the Defense Office of Publication and Security Review, DOPSR. My purpose on releasing this document in the wake of the government's blanket denials regarding the possession of off-world technology is to simply help others understand why I and some others consider these allegations worthy of investigation. Oh my giddy arm. And there's the screenshot. But it goes on. There is more information that was released. And if you think that was exciting, wait until we get the next part. Wait. All right. As you can see, this senior government official claimed that they were being granted access to an alleged US alien technology recovery and exploitation program. I won't comment on the organisation they worked for, but I can confirm that the individual had plausible access and was a high-ranking, considerably more than whistleblower David Grush. As you can see, this individual claimed to be gaining deep insights into the program and had even provided the name of the alleged Air Force gatekeeper for this alleged secret realm. I've shared the unredacted copy of this message with some staff and members of various congressional oversight committees. To the best of my knowledge, none have elected to contact the alleged USAF gatekeeper to check the veracity of this claim. We go on. Aware of the government's categorical denial, of anything related to extraterrestrial life, I submitted a copy of this brief exchange to the Defense Office of Publication and Security Review, and they confirmed the text is unclassified and approved for public release. However, I also recognise that those making the determination that the document is unclassified would not likely be cleared from such an acutely sensitive program if it did exist. Further, the government could hardly deny the approval to release this information without to some degree confirming its sensitivity and legitimacy. So, although I'm relieved to have confirmation that the document is unclassified, I also recognise the truth could be more complicated. I think most people receiving the information of this kind of a senior government official would naturally take the issue seriously, while we're still holding reservations about such a wild and sensational claim. And that's exactly what we need to do. We need to, really keep a level head with this, because yes, this is absolutely huge and it has quite literally been confirmed. There's still a vetting process that it needs to go through, and we need to err on the side of caution. We need to take it nice and easy, all right, but also get incredibly excited because this is a huge step in the right direction. Anyway, there was also this that was uploaded to his Substack. Now, this is basically a document which outlines that redacted part here and I are making huge progress into getting to the CR program. He wants to chat with you at some point. So these are the text messages, okay? So you can see where this has been cleared for open publication. So this document has literally been cleared for open publication, sorry. So it's allowed to be put out there. And, Christopher Mellon is crossing his T's and dotting his I's with this. And he's gone on to state here: it is important to stress that regardless of the alleged technology recovery issue, the UAP topic is one that requires serious, continued congressional and executive branch attention. In just the last few years alone, over 1,000 military UAP reports have been recorded. This is in addition to a wider pattern of mysterious and disruptive drone overflights over US bases and warships. Fighter aircraft from Langley Air Force Base recently had to be relocated after weeks of drone overflights at Langley that the Air Force seemed impotent to address. Now, this was an issue that I covered recently with, where Langley Air Force Base was literally, it got cleared out because there were overhead drones or unmanned aircraft that were just completely swarming the place They didn't know how to deal with it, so what did they do? They shut the base down and relocated absolutely everything, from craft to personnel. It was wild. Right. Impotent to address. The Air Force still does not know who was operating those craft or where they came from. And it's not just Langley. There have been many similar unsolved cases elsewhere in recent years. These include incidents at Anderson Air Force bases, sensitive facilities on Guam, a large region of United States containing the US ICBM missile silos. Navy vessels both the east and west coasts have been extensively surveilled. USAF training ranges in Arizona have been violated, and more. If we didn't have a culture of trying to shame and humiliate military personnel who see and report unusual things, the military would undoubtedly have other credible reports to evaluate. With such extraordinary demonstrated vulnerabilities, far more serious than mere Chinese balloon, there is an urgent need for the government to aggressively investigate incursions of restricted military airspace regardless of the truth and any allegations about a recovered off-world technology. Now, that's the kind of long and short of it. This is absolutely mind-boggling. And you're probably thinking to yourself, now, what is this Kingman, Arizona incident that happened in the 50s? Well, I did some digging. And I found a handful of videos, one on YouTube, one on TikTok, and I found kind of a roundup video over on Twitter of this exact incident. And it's going to absolutely blow your friggin' minds, like, what actually went down on that night. All right, so strap yourselves in, because this is where it gets a bit wild.
Kingman, Arizona, May 1953. At the height of the Cold War, an unidentified object reportedly crashed in the desert sands. What remained was allegedly sent to America's most top-secret facility, Area 51. But it wasn't until 45 years later, in 1998, that a retired military engineer named Bill Uhouse came forward to make a stunning claim. The military didn't just have the extraterrestrial technology, they had an actual living alien. Kingman, Arizona.
Bro! What? No! Like, this whole thing just gets wild and wild and wilder. And then here is a little roundup made by a very, very, very good page, if you don't follow it already, called Dan Warren over on Twitter. He's very, very good when it comes to these kind of roundup videos. Take a little listen to this.
Top secret government UFO crash retrieval programs have been discussed all over the mainstream media lately. But no one's actually talking about the rumored UFO crash retrievals that happened. May 1953, witnesses report 8 saucer-shaped UFOs streaking across the Arizona sky, zigging and zagging, bobbing and weaving, and ducking and dodging in what looks like a dogfight in the sky. And 70 years later, congressional hearing witness Ryan Graves relays that commercial pilots are seeing similar activities in the skies to this day.
So I have been reporting that north of the Atlantic and the north of the Pacific as well, pilots that are doing those transatlantic or transpacific flights are seeing various objects, lights that are coming down, behaving in strange ways, holding in a pattern, look like almost like they're dogfighting in space in some way, kind of back and forth with each other.
Which sounds surprisingly similar to a mass sighting of an aerial battle that occurred between triangular objects, spheres, and cylinders that took place 461 years ago over a small town in Germany named Nuremberg. And much like the spherical objects depicted as falling out of the sky and crashing into the ground in this engraving, the 1953 dogfight ended with 3 of the 8 objects crashing into the ground near Kingman, Arizona. 1 was completely destroyed, 1 was severely damaged when it clipped the edge of a butte, and surprisingly, 1 was found completely intact without a scratch on it. So if there have been UFO battles taking place in the skies over Kingman, Nuremberg, and the North Atlantic and Pacific, between non-friendly groups of non-human intelligences, does this provide a simple answer to a difficult question that's often asked by skeptics as well as newcomers to this topic? If they're so advanced that they can get here, why would they crash when they arrive? In addition to the possibility of a battle being the reason for the Kingman UFO crashes, other potential explanations have been put forward, including the possibility of the UAPs falling from the skies due to a series of massive explosions unleashed by the Atomic Energy Commission at a nearby test site in Nevada, which was codenamed Upshot Knothole. Or could the crashes have been caused by a trio of immensely powerful experimental radar sites in the area that generated high output, high energy, short bolts of microwave radiation? Regardless of the reason, the crafts crashed. And it's reported that the military quickly descended upon the Kingman crash site and secured the site until a recovery team arrived and took the craft. Although researchers have been unable to obtain any material left behind from the craft themselves, when they visited the crash site, they did find evidence of the military having a presence there. And this evidence came in the form of military-grade food canisters that were dated back to 1953. So are these Kingman craft in the inventory of the UFOs that David Grush alleges that the US has possession of? Hopefully, first-hand witnesses of these crash retrieval programs will begin to come forward, and we'll finally get answers to that as well as many other questions. But until then, check out the rest of this story on Mystery Wire that George Knapp wrote. And if you want to hear all the controversy that surrounds this Kingman event, check out the April 17th episode of Somewhere in the Skies. Thanks for watching, like, share, and subscribe.
I just don't know what to say. Like, we've been asking for this for ages, and then all of a sudden, just on one Monday evening, boom, Christopher Mellon drops a tweet, and it spirals into this entire thing. This is crazy. UFO craft being in possession of the military, even though it said not to. Crash retrieval programs being an actual thing, even though they were told or said not to be things. A potential alien body, if you believe the first video. Oh my goodness. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? It's one of those things where if I said to you that this is what's happening, you'd probably turn around to me and be like, nah, no way. But when you piece all of the evidence together like we have in this video, it's quite hard to disrepute. It's quite hard to dismiss this information. What do you guys think? Please get down in the comments. Let me know what you think. What's going to happen next? First of all, we've got Jason Sands, which, by the way, I've got another video coming up about him tomorrow because shit has hit the fan over there as well. Big time, by the way, big time. He's been called out by a few very reputable people, so you're not going to want to miss that video. But woo! Please get down below. Let me know what you think. Jump scare the hell out of that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new and tick on my little bell so you get notified whenever we upload to this channel. And until next time, guys, I hope that you have enjoyed. I can't wait to see you in the next one. I'll speak to you later. Peace.